MIA had always taken immense pride in her role as a perfect partner. At 32, she balanced her career as a graphic designer with the constant demands of motherhood, raising two energetic children, aged 6 and 8. Her husband, James, a devoted accountant, often worked long hours to provide for their family. He was kind, supportive, and unwavering in his love, yet the pressures of daily life left them with little time for intimate moments. The fire that once burned brightly between them had begun to wane, dulled by the monotony of routine. In the quiet corners of her life, MIA found solace in her close-knit community, particularly in her neighbor, Amelia. He was a charming man in his late 30s who had moved into the neighborhood a year prior. His relaxed demeanor and easy laughter made him a favorite among the local children, and something about his presence resonated deeply with MIA. With him, she felt seen and understood in a way she hadn't realized she craved. What began as casual conversations over the garden fence soon blossomed into something more. They exchanged friendly banter while tending to their plants, their laughter carrying through the air like a forgotten melody. MIA felt a spark each time their paths crossed, a thrill that sent a rush of warmth through her, awakening emotions she hadn't experienced in years. At first, it was innocent, light-hearted teasing, stolen glances, the kind of effortless joy that felt harmless. But as time passed, their conversations deepened. They spoke of their past, their dreams, their unspoken longings. With each exchange, MIA felt a renewed sense of vitality, as if Amelia had unlocked a part of her that had been dormant for too long. One golden afternoon, as their children played together, MIA and Amelia found themselves alone in the backyard. The setting sun bathed the world in a soft, enchanting glow, transforming the ordinary into something magical. They laughed and talked, their words eventually giving way to a comfortable silence, one thick with an unspoken tension that neither dared to acknowledge. That evening, as James returned home from work, MIA struggled to shake the lingering exhilaration of a time with Amelia. She went through the motions of her evening routine, but her thoughts betrayed her. She replayed their conversation, the way his eyes lingered on Hayes, the way his presence made her feel. A dangerous flutter of anticipation stirred within her, something she had thought lost to the years. Days passed in a blur of longing and guilt. MIA stole glances at Amelia whenever they crossed paths, her pulse quickening at every fleeting moment their eyes met. The electricity between them crackled, undeniable and intoxicating. One quiet Friday evening, with James working late and the children tucked into bed, MIA felt a restless yearning. She told herself it was innocent as she stepped outside, heading toward Amelia's house under the cover of twilight. She would simply borrow a book, one she had mentioned wanting to read. But as she approached his door, her heart pounded, fueled by something far more dangerous than mere curiosity. Amelia greeted her with a warm smile, inviting her to sit with him on the porch. Under a sky freckled with stars, they talked, their words weaving between laughter and quiet confessions. The air between them grew thick with an irresistible tension, an unspoken pull neither could ignore. As the night deepened, they found themselves drawn closer, the space between them shrinking until their knees brushed. The world around them faded, leaving only the magnetic force that tethered them together. When Amelia reached out, tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear, MIA felt a breath hitch, a tempest of emotion swirling within her. And then he kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative yet charged with a depth of longing that sent shivers down her spine. A surge of heat coursed through her, awakening something buried beneath years of routine. Without thinking, she kissed him back, her mind a whirlwind of contradictions. Excitement, fear, desire, guilt. The moment ended too soon, leaving behind a hollow ache and a dangerous realization. She had crossed a line. As she made her way home, the weight of her actions settled over her like a storm cloud. She had betrayed James, the man who had stood by her side through everything. Yet, as much as guilt gnawed at her, she couldn't ignore the thrill that still hummed beneath her skin. The days that followed became a tangled mess of remorse and longing. She tried to immerse herself in her family, in James' unwavering affection, but her mind betrayed her. She relived that night over and over, the feel of Amelia's lips against hers, the way he made her heart race. Their secret could not be contained. Each stolen glance, every whispered conversation, every fleeting touch only pulled Maya deeper into the storm. She knew she was playing with fire, yet she couldn't bring herself to extinguish the flame. Her life became a delicate dance, pretending everything was the same while hiding the illicit passion that burned beneath the surface. When James spoke sweetly to her, when he reached for her hand, when he told her he loved her, the sharp sting of guilt cut through her, but it was always followed by the undeniable pull of Amelia. She had always believed in love, in loyalty, in the sanctity of commitment. But now, she found herself questioning everything. Was love meant to be steady and predictable, or was it meant to set the soul ablaze? Could she reconcile the safety of what she had with the exhilaration of what she had found? As weeks turned into months, Mia's double life became harder to maintain. The thrill of her clandestine romance with Amelia was intoxicating, but it came at a cost. She was standing at the precipice of a decision that would alter her life forever: continue down this treacherous path or confront the truth before everything crumbled around her. What she didn't yet realize was that no matter which path she chose, the consequences would be irreversible. MIA had become a master of deception, weaving intricate tales to conceal the truth. Each carefully crafted lie felt like another stone added to the weight pressing upon her chest, suffocating her. She had long since lost track of the number of times she had misled James about her whereabouts, about her late-night walks, about the lingering scent of salt water on her skin. The guilt gnawed at her, a relentless shadow that refused to be ignored. One evening, as she sat on Amelia's porch, basking in the remnants of the day's golden light, she felt the burden of her choices settle heavily upon her. They shared laughter, reminiscing about their spontaneous drive to the beach, where they had spent hours immersed in conversation beneath a canopy of stars. The memory should have been a joyous one, yet the mirth in her voice faded as reality clawed its way back into her consciousness. "MIA, we can't keep doing this," Amelia murmured, his voice laced with concern. "You need to figure out what you truly want." His words were a ripple that grew into a tidal wave, crashing over her with sudden, terrifying force. Until that moment, she had been swept up in the thrill of it all, intoxicated by the stolen moments and whispered confessions. Yet deep down, she knew she could not continue living in this fractured state. The thought of losing her family sent an icy chill through her, but the idea of severing her connection with Amelia was equally unbearable. That night, she slipped into bed beside James, his steady breath filling the silence between them. Staring up at the ceiling, she felt a suffocating sense of hopelessness. She loved James. She always had. He was her anchor, her unwavering constant. But Amelia had awakened something within her, a passion she had convinced herself was long buried beneath years of routine and responsibility. As the first light of dawn spilled into the room, MIA made her decision. She could no longer live divided between two lives, shackled by dishonesty. She had to face the truth, no matter how devastating it might be. Once the children had left for school, she found James in the living room, seated with his morning coffee. "James," she began, her voice trembling, "we need to talk." He looked up, concern flickering in his tired eyes. "Is everything all right?" "No, it's not," she admitted, tears already pricking at the corners of her eyes. "I've made choices that have hurt us, and I need to be honest with you." With a deep, shuddering breath, she laid bare everything, the lingering touches, the stolen glances, the kisses beneath the moonlight. The air between them grew thick with anguish as James' expression shifted from confusion to devastation. She watched as the foundation of their life together cracked beneath the weight of her confession. The silence stretched unbearably until he finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "Was I not enough for you, MIA?" Her heart clenched painfully. How could she explain the emptiness that had driven her into Amelia's arms? How could she justify a betrayal that had no real justification? Tears slipped down her cheeks as she whispered, "I never meant to hurt you." James stood, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. "I need time," he said, his voice hollow. "I can't even look at you right now." MIA watched as he turned away, retreating into a silence that felt colder than anything she had ever known. The distance between them stretched further with each passing day. James buried himself in work, coming home late and avoiding conversation. The house, once filled with warmth and shared laughter, became an echoing chamber of unspoken words and lingering pain. Seeking solace, MIA confided in Abigail, the one friend she knew would listen without judgment. Over coffee, she let the dam break, spilling out every emotion: guilt, longing, regret. Abigail listened, her expression solemn. "MIA," She said gently, "You need to decide what you truly want. Do you want to rebuild your marriage, or is it time to walk away?" MIA hesitated. A part of her yearned to mend what had been broken, to restore the love she and James had once shared. But another part of her still clung to the passion she had found with Amelia, the thrill of feeling truly seen and desired. Days passed in a haze of contemplation until one evening, as she sat beside James in the dim glow of their living room, she finally gathered the courage to speak again. "I know I hurt you," she said softly, "and I can never take that back. But I don't want to give up on us, James. I want to fight for our marriage, for our family." He remained silent for a long moment, staring into the distance as though searching for an answer. When he finally turned to her, his expression was unreadable. "You shattered my trust, MIA. I don't know if we can ever go back to what we were. I don't expect things to be the same," she admitted, "but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right." Another stretch of silence enveloped them, and MIA realized that whatever happened next, their lives would never be the same. The path to healing would be long, uncertain, and fraught with pain. But she had made her choice, and now she could only hope James would make his. "I refined your narrative with more vivid language and deeper emotional detail. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments." MIA pressed on, unveiling the depths of her regrets and acknowledging that her choices had stemmed from an unaddressed void within her. She recognized the magnitude of her mistakes and vowed to embrace transparency and honesty in all her future actions. "I understand this won't be easy, but I'm willing to invest the time and effort if you are," she said, her voice laced with both trepidation and hope, her eyes searching James for any glimmer of understanding. To her astonishment, James did not turn away. Instead, he nodded slowly, a warmth beginning to replace the sorrow in his gaze. "I want to believe in you, MIA, but rebuilding my trust will take time. I think we should seek counseling together." A flicker of optimism stirred within MIA. They embarked on their journey through therapy, navigating the raw and often painful terrain of their emotions. Their sessions were laden with tears and difficult conversations, but as time passed, they began to mend the delicate threads of their bond. James expressed his feelings of betrayal and loss, while MIA confronted the root of her actions, her own neglected needs and the silent longing for something she had failed to identify. Through therapy, MIA gained profound insights into herself. She realized she had spent years trying to be the perfect wife and mother, all while neglecting her own desires. She learned the value of communication, the power of vulnerability, and the necessity of nurturing her own identity within a marriage. Slowly but surely, she and James began to rediscover the love that had once united them. They started carving out time for each other, relishing quiet moments over coffee in the morning or sharing laughter over dinner dates that rekindled memories of their early romance. MIA found herself cherishing the little things, the way James instinctively knew how she liked her tea, the sound of his laughter when playing with her children in the backyard, the way his presence brought a sense of home she had once taken for granted. Yet, despite these strides, MIA still struggled with lingering emotion for Amelia. She knew he had ignited a passion within her, but he had also awakened an impulsive side of her that had led her down a dangerous path. After much reflection, she reached a pivotal decision. She had to sever ties with him entirely if she truly wanted to repair her marriage. One afternoon, she met with Amelia, her heart heavy but resolute. "We need to talk," she said firmly. "I've chosen my family, my marriage. This, whatever we had, has to end." Amelia's expression shifted from surprise to understanding. He nodded, his gaze soft with a bittersweet acceptance. "I never wanted to come between you and your family. I just hope you find the happiness you're searching for." As she walked away, MIA felt a complex mix of emotions, sorrow for what was lost, but also a sense of liberation. It was a closing of a chapter that, while thrilling, had been built on pain and deception. Now, she was ready to fully commit to the life she had once been so willing to risk. Time passed, and MIA dedicated herself to rebuilding her marriage. She and James celebrated small victories, anniversaries marked by renewed commitment, family vacations filled with laughter, and deep conversations that strengthened their emotional connection. Though the road to healing was arduous, they faced each challenge together, bound by a shared determination to move forward. MIA also focused on rediscovering herself beyond the roles of wife and mother. She reignited her passion for graphic design, immersing herself in creative projects that brought her joy and fulfillment. James, recognizing the importance of her personal growth, supported her wholeheartedly, encouraging her to pursue her aspirations. Their relationship evolved into a true partnership, one built on mutual respect, trust, and a renewed sense of purpose. As the seasons changed, so did their love. No longer fragile, it had been reforged through hardship, emerging stronger and more authentic. MIA came to understand that love wasn't solely defined by grand gestures or fleeting passion, but by the quiet moments of unwavering support, understanding, and shared dreams. Reflecting on her journey, she recognized that the affair, though painful, had been a catalyst for transformation. It had forced her to confront her inner turmoil, redefine her values, and ultimately choose a life she truly wanted. The scars of the past remained, but they no longer haunted her. Instead, they served as reminders of resilience, redemption, and the boundless capacity of love to heal even the deepest wounds. One evening, as she and James stood hand in hand, watching their children play in the golden light of dusk, MIA felt an overwhelming sense of peace. They were not merely surviving. They were thriving, ready to embrace whatever the future held, together. I refined your text to enhance its depth, emotional impact, and narrative flow. Let me know if you'd like any further adjustments or refinements.